Hello everyone, BaxtyB here and welcome back to Shifting Happens, and today we are going to be making our official predictions for who we think the first ever driver lineup is going to be for the newly created Cadillac F1 team. They will be joining Formula One in 2026. Now, we are going to be giving our wider thoughts on this on the next episode of Shifting Happens. So this video is just going to be predictions for the driver lineup. And without further ado, let's hear from the guys.
Hey folks, so now that we know that Cadillac is officially in and going to be racing in 2026, who are the drivers going to be? Well, I think the worst kept secret is that this has always been a project that had Colton Herta's name on it. I don't see any other American driver that has his potential and his age profile, especially within IndyCar. So I think that you can just count him in for a seat. To everyone who says that, he hasn't won an IndyCar yet, I really think that you need to watch the performance he's had against his Andretti teammates. He's consistently leading their charge, but he's in a team that, while it can win races, is not a candidate to win championships. In order to do that, you have to be in a Ganassi or a Penske. So given that, I think that he will be a shoe-in, and I think he'll do very well. As for the second seat, I think that that seat would go to Checo, and I think that I want that to happen now because I don't like the way that his Red Bull tenure ended. I think that he's still a very good driver, and he puts in incredible performances in machinery that is second rate. So he's been somebody that I think gets the most out of a car that isn't perhaps the front end of the grid. Nothing wrong with that. You need that type of driver. And I think in a situation where the pressure is off and he's not in one of the top teams, he'll deliver again just like he had in the past. I also think that he's been much maligned in terms of his performances at Red Bull and deserves that chance to end his career on a more positive note that reflects the skill that I'm sure he still has. I'm sure he doesn't want to go out being known as what he was in that last season or two with Red Bull. So those are my two driver picks. As for a dark horse candidate, I would look at some of the other IndyCar young drivers, including Callum Ilott, Robert Schwartzman, who have experience in F2 and have been F1 development drivers as well. And that's maybe a good candidate for a test driver, and we'll see how those two get on with Prema in IndyCar this year and if they put themselves on the radar for perhaps a chance there. Anyway, that's my pick for Cadillac in 2026.
Hey everyone, BaxtyB again, and so my thoughts on this are that I think they're going to go for a recognised driver from IndyCar, somebody that's familiar with the American audience as one of their drivers, and I think they'll also go for an established F1 name, and I think there's candidates on both sides that could fit the mould. A few honourable mentions. You look at people like maybe Joseph Newgarden, Pato O'Ward, potentially as the IndyCar picks. Alex Palou would be another great pick, somebody that's raced in junior formula as well. But I think, given that Andretti aren't directly involved, but I still think they're going to have some kind of involvement, and Mario Andretti is on the board of this new Cadillac F1 team, I think Colton Herta is the pick for the IndyCar driver. Still young, still incredibly talented, has harboured F1 aspirations for some time now. Of course, was linked with a drive at the Red Bull Junior team when they were going by whatever name they went by at that time. I think it was still when they were AlphaTauri. But I think Colton Herta is definitely the safe option here. Finished second in the IndyCar Championship last year behind Palou, and is very, very talented. And I think he will be a great pickup for Cadillac, and definitely they will want an American driver to fill that void, and I think he will fit that mold better than Logan Sargent, who would be the other candidate realistically for the American driver, simply because he's been in Formula One. But I just think Colton suits that better than Logan does. As for the established F1 driver, obviously Logan is an option hit, but I don't think they'll go for him unless he comes with a massive pay packet. That's where I think it could potentially go. But the other options, Daniel Ricciardo, very popular driver, got a huge love for America. He would do really well being part of the team and helping it get off the ground. But I don't think Daniel has the appetite to go back. And the other driver that potentially could get a nod is Valtteri Bottas. But I'm not sure Valtteri's going to want to go to a startup team. I think if he's going to come back to Formula One, which to be honest with you, I think is unlikely. As much as I like Valtteri, I don't. He's going to want to go to an established team. So I think realistically, the only option that's available to them, he comes with a massive pay packet, he's a brilliant midfield driver, is Checo Perez, the Mexican Minister of Defense. And I think he would do a really, really good job for them. We know what kind of impact he has on the business side, simply because of what he's done for Red Bull. I think this is a lock. So my picks are Colton Herta and Sergio Perez.
How to solve a problem like Cadillac F1. Who are going to be their drivers? Who has any idea? Well, in times like these, I like to go back to my old friends, youth and experience. So, driver number 1, let's get in Valtteri Bottas. We know that he's quick. He's coming off the back of actually a pretty impressive season in that Sauber that didn't want to do anything. Even if he didn't get any points, he was comprehensively better than Joe. And being in an environment where he wasn't being overshadowed by the end of it, 7-time world champion, really seemed to bring out the best in Valtteri Bottas. There you go. Driver number 1, Valtteri Bottas. That's my youth pick. And for experience, I say bring back Michael Andretti.
What did he say?
Why not? Michael Andretti has unfinished business in Formula One as a driver. It would be a much easier task to go up against Valtteri Bottas than it would against Ayrton Senna in that awful 1993 McLaren. And third, wouldn't it just be a massive big FU to F1 and FOM and the FIA, all of whom were telling him that he couldn't have his team on the grid. Maybe that's a little bit too far. It does seem that TWG, the organisation that have launched this bid, really want to get an American driver on the grid. It seems like Colton Herta is the driver that everyone seems to think is going to get that drive, although even he doesn't seem to be particularly keen. So I think the conversation really is about how important is it for an American team coming to the grid brand new with all of the American fanfare behind them to have a driver that is American. I would say, okay, I take your point, it's important, but isn't there a better way to do it than to just take an IndyCar driver? There has to be more of a point to this than just trying to prove that IndyCar drivers are just as good as Formula One drivers. Maybe they are, but in the same way that Harry Rovanperä is a great rally driver, that doesn't necessarily make him a great Formula One driver. Times have changed over the past 30 odd years. This isn't 1995 anymore, where Jacques Villeneuve can win the IndyCar championship and then turn up and dominate in Formula One. These are two different disciplines, and drivers have become more and more specialised in their own little bubbles. In the same way, Fernando Alonso isn't going to turn up at the Indy 500 and blow everybody away. We know from recent experience that that isn't the case anymore. I think if you want to get an American driver into Formula One, you do it the Formula One way. And that means send somebody across to Europe, get them through all of the single-seater ladder that you have at the moment, and the barrier to entry right now is pretty high. We are having Formula 2 rookie champions finding it difficult to get themselves on the grid. Look at Gabby Bortoleto, currently in a Sauber. That's the level. So to expect somebody from IndyCar to just turn up and be on the grid is too much. Make them go through the full single-seater ladder in Europe, just like every other Formula One driver does. That seems to be a reasonable request, and there are enough drivers in North America for that to be a reality. So how do you solve for a problem like Cadillac? I think right now, 2 experienced drivers on the grid, Valtteri Bottas, and if it were me, I'll be finding a seat for Yuki Tsunoda. But that's just me.
Hi everyone. My two driver picks for the Cadillac Formula 1 team that has been recently announced will firstly be Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez, who was currently let go by Red Bull at the end of the 2024 season after a poor run of results. I do think people are forgetting that Sergio Perez was one of the best midfield drivers before joining Red Bull. His tire saving skills were one of the best on the grid. He was able to those Force India's racing points. He was able to get podiums compared to his teammates, such as Nico Hülkenberg and Lance Stroll. But I do think Sergio Perez, he's a good driver to basically develop a car. We know Cadillac, they're going to be using Ferrari engines as well, but the thing is, they will become a works team, and Cadillac, we don't know how they're going to perform. They could be back markers, could be midfield, they could be fighting for the top of the grid. So I think Perez is there. Perez is still young in Formula 1 ages of drivers, so I think he'd be there as a great, for the first few years, to give a great baseline of experience, how to develop a car, the feedback for the engineers. And I think Sergio will be rejuvenated after a year on the sidelines. There's report that he's rumoured to be looking at doing Le Mans, a race at Le Mans maybe, but that's only a rumour. But also it's Sergio Perez. I think he's just going to be rejuvenated. So I think he's a good choice as the main driver. I think secondly, my second driver is probably what most of my colleagues in Shifting Happens have said, Colton Herta. I think Herta had a strong finish in the IndyCar last season. He mastered the ovals. He got his first oval win at the season finale. I do think he should have, if he can get a strong title charge again this year, I think if he gets the super license points, I think definitely he should be consideration. And I think get another American driver on the grid. And I think, unlike Logan Sargent, I do think Herta has the potential to actually have a better performance than Logan. I think Herta and Perez would be a solid lineup. Herta, young American prospect, not young, but he's still young enough in motorsport terms. And Sergio Perez, who brings a lot of sponsorship as well. Cadillac is going to probably need a bit of funding. Yes, their works outfit, but they will still, Perez will bring plenty of sponsors, experience, and he's still a great driver. It's just that his career was just tainted at Red Bull because it just didn't go to plan. He was still one of the most successful Mexican driver, but still, I think Perez and Herta will be fine choices. I probably have agreed with most of my Shifting Happens. I know I might have, but others, there could be a few surprises in that. So yeah, I hope you like my reasoning and why I picked them, but yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. There are our predictions for the Cadillac drivers for 2026. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Please comment below and let us know. Also, if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe to the channel. We are enjoying making content and we want to continue doing so. And your support has been amazing so far. And we want to continue growing and building this community that we have going. Please do like the video as well, share it around. We'd love to hear from as many of you as possible. And also keep an eye out for the next episode. We normally go live, so you'll be able to come and join us and chat with us, and we'll interact with you as and when we can. But until next time, guys, on behalf of all of us here at Shifting Happens, stay safe, and I shall speak to you all very, very soon.